Hey guys, how we doing tonight? It is June 1st. Some great mellow jazz from our friends over at YouTube. Thank you very much for some nice New York jazz here. June 1st, 2022. Hope you guys are all doing well today. Um, just a little community update, if you will, over the next I would say 1 to 5, 6, 7 days, depending on, the law enforcement community, your community's law enforcement budgets. Uh, if you haven't had your car inspected yet, it's time. Um, I generally am way ahead of this. Had my car inspected today, only because car's 3 years old. It failed inspection last week, so I had it repaired and got it re-inspected today. And but it got me thinking. Uh, there was a couple of people in the station. You know how it is tomorrow. You'll see so many cars lined up in the station because I forgot, and people forget. So your friendly, officer friendly, will be parked on your right side of where you're going and looking for that 5 sticker, where it should be 6. So I got a 5 because my car is a May car, but I had to go back in today, and it passed with flying colors with just a little tweak. But man, they look at everything, the cameras, and you know, it's not like how I grew up where we go buy like a couple of inspection stickers from Officer Friendly for $5. But anyway, so the Sox, oh god, lost to the Cincinnati Reds last night. Are you guys really tuned in to the Red Sox? I know it's early, but it's not really early. While the Yankees are like 33 and 15, and we're like 40 plus games into the season. Um, I say it every year. There's at least 15, 16 Major League Baseball teams that are already out of the gate, and the Red Sox are actually one of them. It would take a miracle. It would take a major trade. Shane Bloom, GM, go to Pittsburgh, okay? But please don't bring. This all started on Dave Dombrowski's uh, god awful old school general manager thing, where we picked up Chris Sale, and you know it looks like Chris Sale, man. He's like it looks like we picked him up from a junkyard and we keep repairing him. You know. Anyway, Celtics tomorrow night. Um, Golden State Warriors. What do you guys think? Chime in. So I was saying last week, or maybe this week, um, that the shooting down in Texas, which was god awful, and it's we move on so quickly, But I did touch on, and a few of you guys asked me to open that conversation up about mental illness. Let's open that conversation up right now. Um, Now, I've been doing some research on the internet. I also work in the field. I'm not saying I'm an expert on violence and things like that. I did say last week, and I'll repeat myself again. I've been in the field of mental health, helping individuals find jobs. I've worked in state hospitals. Those were some tough places to work, and yes, I did get smacked by a few of the patients back in the 1980s. But when I look back now as a professional, I'm like, I got too close to them. I wasn't respecting their space. And maybe I do that to you now. If you were at McDonald's, you get too close to me, man. It's all over YouTube, right? What's self-control? It's self-control. And, folks with a mental illness oftentimes um, can lose self-control if they have a substance abuse disorder, commanding voices, um, those kind of things. Um, but this is some research from some folks over at Duke University. While perpetrating violence is relatively uncommon among those with a serious mental illness, when it does occur, in many cases it is intertwined with other issues such as a co-occurring substance disorder, adverse childhood experiences, and other environmental factors. Okay, so it looks to me, for what I'm reading, is that, for example, people often believe, the general community believes, that people with mental illnesses are largely responsible for incidences of mass violence, and that people with mental illnesses are responsible for a large share of community violence. Yet, both views have been roundly debunked by research. Again, this is from Duke University. We need to do some serious myth busting around these ideas. People believe them, and they have real consequences. So people are stigmatized. People with a mental illness. Oh, that. So the shooting, and I'm only talking about this because, the news, who so irresponsible. Who holds the media accountable for what they report? Okay, mental health, guns, mental health, guns, guns, mental health. Well, he must have been crazy to do that. Well, the dude that jumped out of his car at me, who had no self-control, maybe I was riding too close, or maybe I wasn't going fast enough for them, and they lose self-control. Okay, years ago there was two dads going at it in a hockey game with their kids. They were going at it in the arena, and there was a high school hockey game or whatever. And after the game, the two dads with families, especially the guy, big guy, jumped on top of the smaller guy and killed him, beat him to death in front of everybody. Rage, road rage. Okay, so this dude, the hockey dad, everybody was supposed to feel sorry for him because he had a wife, he had two kids, and yes, their family is screwed. He's screwed. He's going to walk around with that on his conscience because he lost it in that moment. Okay? Did he have a mental illness? No, but did he take a life? He did. Okay? The bottom line is, diagnoses of mental illness alone are never enough to tell you if someone is likely to be violent again in the future. Okay? And let me just give you a little bit more read here. It basically says that people with a mental illness are within the margin of committing a violent crime or violent act of violence within the same margin as the general population. Okay, so go back to, a couple of seconds ago, a minute ago or so, what I was saying about self-control. Okay, again, working in the field, I said it last week, I work with people who just want to get back in the game. Depression, anxiety, people going out for interviews who haven't worked in years. Oh my gosh, but I get excited for people and giving them a chance. Can there be violence? Absolutely, within the population. But most people, again, most people with a stable mental illness do not present an increased risk of violence. Period. I don't know what you guys have to say about that, but I would encourage you to go online and really do some research, because, and I encourage you to do that because, you know, there's populations of in our society that have labels on them, and they're put there erroneously. And again, I call out the media last week for saying, you know, this kid, whoever he was, you know, they said, you know, mental health, and he never lied on a couch in his life, dudes. I'm telling you right now, he never did. And most of them don't. They're the hockey dads. Or they're the latchkey kids from the 90s, or, you know, the Beavis and Buttheads. You know, thank God Beavis and Butthead only stole TVs and you know, but they were an example of again, I believe it starts with family, support, friends, early intervention, parents admitting to themselves first as a family that son, daughter, hey, you know, we're seeing these things, you know, and the admission is tough. I'm sure if you're a parent, I am not a parent, but all my relatives are. But you know, when you see things on the news, use your own, you know, use your own judgment, and use and research really what's going on out there, because there's violence everywhere. And again, there's people jumping out of cars. There's people. It seems like everybody's walking around pissed off. But when we see it taking out on kids, there's something there, you know. And is that the media, you know, saying that, hey, if I do this, I'm going to be a star? Who knows? I mean, it has to be more than that. I don't want to simplify it, but, you know, there's no excuse for someone going in and taking, you know, 19 kids, you know, 20 plus at Sandy Hook. There's no excuse for that, but there's a reason. There's a reason. And it's always dumped on the mental health community, you know. And why was it so easy for them to get a gun? Right? 18 years old. I'm going to go buy, you know, whatever it was, an automatic weapon or whatever it was, so easily. No one asked questions about that. You know, the history that they had at home. I mean, come on, you know, do the math. You know, I'm doing the math anyway, guys. So, I want to leave you with that, but, you know, stay well, self-control. If you can have self-control, and it's tough these days, exercise it and use your best judgment, you know. I know I'm trying, because it's a very small world out there, getting smaller, okay? But like I say, too, we all want to get up in the morning and come home to our families, all right? And if you see something, say something. If you think something's odd, it is. All right. Anyway, Kenny B here, signing out from Cities and Suburbs. Take care, and make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure if you don't like it, let me know, and subscribe. Take care.